We can hear you.
Next, we have Julia Jones, who is a youth pastor, and you can sit or you can come.
I'm going to stand.
No, she's going to stand. Awesome. Well, have at it. I'll get out of the bed. Make this work.
All right. Not quite afternoon, but so good morning, everybody. I am Julia Jones. I've been the youth minister at St. Anne's in Long Grove for about 15 years, and I am blessed to feel confident that I am truly living out my calling at St. Anne's. Last Saturday, I traveled to Rock Falls, Illinois for a family reunion. It seems that lately we've been getting together a lot more for funerals, and so we decided to gather on purpose for a happy occasion. While I was there, a cousin I hadn't seen in a long time, she's about 20 years older than me, she came up to me, started telling me a story about one of her youngest son who was in college, and how he just started going to a church and he was attending weekly, and then one day an old man named Bob came up and asked him to help out. He recognized that he was, regularly attending, so he said yes, because who can say no to an old man named Bob? So he goes back week after week, and he works side by side with Bob. And Bob has become his best church friend, even though there's about a 50-year age gap. I minister to grades 7 through 12, but I was really excited to hear this story. First of all, how awesome it was that Bob recognized this young man attending by himself weekly. Then, how Bob welcomed and empowered Jack. So lastly, how they developed this friendship that had nothing to do with programming, just two guys doing a little service for church. Jack now feels accountable to show up and do his part because Bob saw him. So with the themes of welcoming and belonging, I was asked to speak to the part of youth ministry. You may have noticed in your parish what we call the rise of the nuns, N-O-N-E-S, which is the group of people that are choosing to disassociate with the church and choosing no religious affiliation. And I guess that's why we're here today, to kind of combat that. I want to get right to the chase because I don't want to get the red flag. So 3 key things I've seen for myself work at St. Anne's. First, your parish may employ a youth minister, full-time or part-time. Maybe you have volunteers that jump in a pinch and plan some activities for the kids. Whether you employ someone or not, one key component in youth ministry is that the job of youth minister is the adult of every adult in the parish. Youth ministers are valuable assets to have, but one person cannot do the job alone. Everyone must see how they can work together to build stronger relationships with their youth, whether it be going up to them and just saying, "Hi, I'm Bob, can you pass out the baskets today?" Or go up to the youth minister and ask how you can help them if they have any needs, maybe drivers, chaperones, youth night volunteers. If you have precious time to give, please offer it. The more caring adults a teen has in their life, the better your parish will be because of it. And if you can't give time, you can ask to be a prayer partner. Money is always a need, or you could send food to youth nights. I promise you, if you become the person that shows up with like mozzarella sticks or even chips, like you're gonna become a local celebrity. So that's gonna lead me to my second point. It's people, not programs. I have a wonderful team of adult leaders on Wednesday nights, and I do call them youth ministers. We meet on Wednesdays from September to April, and at the beginning of the year, I happen to hand them some curriculum, and I hope that they can get through that, but the curriculum comes second. First, they have to get to know their kids. In a small town atmosphere like North Scott, St. Anne's, it's easy to see a lot of the kids in their music programs, sporting events, academic extracurriculars. Once these youth ministers get to know the kids in their groups, they can build a safe space where the teens are not afraid to ask questions. From there, that's where the programming goes right out the window, and you can get right down to the nitty-gritty of what those teens are dying to know about the Catholic faith. I tell my team of youth ministers, they don't have to know all the answers. If somebody comes up to them with a question, and they are allowed to say, "I don't know," but that's when they can find another adult, and they can widen that circle of influence and bring more caring adults that will help out with those teens and their questions. So the curriculum that I give them is just a baseline for the year, but they're welcome to just go with the flow. For my last point, empowering the youth. While we average between 70 and 100 teens at a youth night, I know that's not the regular. But we do have 2 spaces on our parish council for youth. These are full members of the council. They join our parish commissions, they vote on things, and everyone at the table recognizes them as equals. Yes, they are teens, and sometimes the conversation is a bit over their head, but they have accepted their roles, and they understand that they're called to a higher responsibility. Not every teen is cut out for this position, but there are other ways to empower teens, to get them to step into roles in your church. During the pandemic, our choir was put on hold. A lot of our adult choir members were very concerned about their health, and understandably so. So when things reopened and we needed cantors, and the adults were still a little shy to come back, our high schoolers were actually the ones accepting the invitation to be the cantors for our congregation and lead the songs. But once again, that was a really simple connection because the adults in our parish already knew the teens that could sing. So to conclude, my bottom line is that your whole parish should recognize the value that teens have and not make assumptions about them. We were all teenagers once. It was really hard to grow up back then without technology. There's no dollar amount in the world you could pay me to go back and try to be a teenager in 2023. But I invite you guys to think about when you were growing up in the church. Who was your Bob that made you feel connected? So I also want to invite you to be Bob. You don't have to change your name, but you can if you want. Go be Bob for somebody else. In my opinion, all of these things work to build the kingdom. Thank you.